Our next story comes from a long, long time ago and quite some distance away. And it is called The Pear Tree Farmer and the Beggar. Now, once upon a time it was that there lived in a country many miles away a farmer who grew pears. And his pears were the finest pears anyone had ever eaten. The skins were golden, and when you bit into them, oh, they were soft and so sweet, and the juice would run down your chin. Now, on the day of our story, the farmer's crop was ready for picking. So he took them all from his trees and he put them into a barrow that had 2 big wheels and 2 long handles, and started pushing the barrow towards the town where the marketplace was. As soon as he came within sight of the town, everyone started saying, "He's here with the pears. Tell everyone you know. He's here with the pears. Tell your friends. He's here with the pears. Pass it on. He's here with the pears." Which tells you 2 things. Firstly, these must have been really good pears. And secondly, that must have been a really boring town. The farmer found his way into the marketplace, set down his stall, and started to sell his wares. And this is what he said. "Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, the finest pears money can buy, only 1 silver penny apiece." Now, what you need to understand is that in those days, a silver penny was a lot of money. But these were very good pears. The farmer started his sales pitch again. "Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, the finest pears money can buy, only 1 silver penny apiece." And once more he began to speak. "Ladies and gentlemen," when there came a tug on his robe. The farmer looked down, and there, his face all dirty, his hair all matted, his clothes all torn, there was a beggar. The beggar looked up and went, "Here, mister, give us a pear." The farmer looked down and said, "I'm not going to give you a pear. Go away." "Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys." But there was another tug at his robe. The farmer looked down. The beggar looked up and went, No, honestly, mister, go on, please. Give us a pear." The farmer looked down and said, "I am not going to give you a pear. Go away." "Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys." But there was another tug at his robe. The farmer looked down. The old beggar looked up and went, No, honestly, mister, please, give us a pear." The farmer looked down and said, "I am not going to give you a pear. You'll feel the back of my hand in a minute." Ooh. Well, by this time, a huge crowd had gathered to see what was going on. In fact, the crowd had got so big that the captain of the city guard came to see what was happening. She looked up over the heads of the crowd, saw what was occurring, reached down into her own pocket and took out 1 silver penny, called out, "Here you are, beggar, buy yourself a pear," and flicked the silver penny over the heads of the crowd to the beggar. The beggar caught the penny in his hand. Now, the farmer hadn't noticed any of this because he was busy doing his sales pitch again. "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys." He felt a tug on his robe. For a 4th time, he looked down. The old beggar looked up and went, "Here, mister, give us a pear." But this time he had 1 shiny silver penny clasped between his grubby forefinger and thumb. Now, to tell you the truth, the farmer was really annoyed with the beggar and didn't want to give him a pear. but everybody was watching. So the farmer snatched the penny out of the beggar's hand, picked up a pear and went, "There you are, have the pear." Oh. The old beggar took the pear and looked at it and said, "I don't know about you, but it doesn't seem fair to me that I should be the only person to benefit from the guard captain's generosity." He took one long, grubby thumbnail and ran it down the side of the pear. He split the pear open and took out a pip. He bent down to the ground and buried the pip into the earth. And then he walked over to the market's fountain, got some water, sprinkled it over the pip. And then he looked at the crowd and he said, "You might want to stand back for this bit." He waved his hand over the place where he had buried the pip 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and foop! Up out of the ground came the shoot of a pear tree. Something that shouldn't have happened till the following spring had taken only 5 seconds. The beggar waved his hand over the pip a second time. 1, 2, 3, and whoop! There, standing in the middle of the road, was a pear tree sapling as tall as me. Something that should have taken 4 or 5 years only took 10 seconds. The beggar waved his hand in front of the tree 3 more times. 1, 2, 3, and whoa! There in the middle of the road was a fully grown pear tree. Every twig, every branch, every bough, every limb had beautiful golden pears, easily a match for those the farmer was selling. The beggar looked up at the tree and went, "All right then, who'd like a pear?" People pushed forward and the beggar started picking pears from the tree and handing them away for free. The ones that were too high to reach, he just whistled, and they would drop into his hand and he would hand them out. Once every single pear from the pear tree had been handed out, the beggar looked up and down at the pear tree and went, "It seems a bit messy to leave this in the middle of the road here." He winked over to it. He leant against it with his elbow like this and just pushed. And the tree went, boom, and fell to the ground. The old beggar said, "Afternoon all," took hold of one of the tree roots and walked off down the road, dragging the tree behind him. He turned the corner and disappeared. Now the farmer had watched all of this with his mouth wide open. And now he saw that all of these people were eating pears for free. He thought, well, maybe, just maybe, there's a few people who haven't got a pear for free and I can sell them my pears. So, in a rather unhappy voice, he started his sales pitch again. "Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, the finest pears money..." Oh dear. Because when he turned to look at his cart, he realised that the beggar hadn't been a beggar at all. He'd been a wizard, a sorcerer, a conjurer, a magician. Because there were no pears left on the farmer's cart. And one of the long handles from the cart was missing. The farmer realised when everyone had thought they were getting pears from the tree, they'd actually come from the farmer's own cart. And what everyone had seen as a tree had just been a handle broken from the farmer's own cart and stuck in the ground. All of the farmer's pears had gone and he had only 1 silver penny to show for it. down in the mouth, and downhearted. The farmer walked home, pushing his cart in front of him. Although, to tell you the truth, he went in a lot of circles because it only had one handle. Whoop, whoop, and it took him twice as long as usual to go home. He sat down that evening and he thought to himself, what a fool I've been. If only I'd been generous enough to give the beggar a pear. I must learn from this. Well, the next year, when the farmer's pears were all ripe, he picked them and he put them on his repaired cart that now had two handles again, and he pushed them to the marketplace. As he got close to the town, everyone said, he's here with the pears, pass it on. He's here with the pears, tell everyone. He's here with the pears, tell your friends. And a bigger crowd than ever gathered, half of them to buy the pears and half to see if the farmer would get in trouble with the beggar again. And the farmer began to sell his wares. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, the finest pears money can buy, only 1 silver penny apiece. But you can be sure, you can be sure that at the back of the cart there was a little pile of the finest pears put aside, just in case somebody tugged on the farmer's robe and said, "Here, mister, give us a pear." And that, my friends, is the story of the pear tree farmer and the beggar. It's a story that you'll find in many forms across many countries, but this particular one is my favourite. I hope you join me back here at 3:45 for another story. And in the meantime, delights are good. Do you know what? I'm going to put my teeth in, untie my tongue, tweak my ears and try that again. Delights, many, many delights are still available here at the Hastings Storytelling Festival. Thank you for your time.